Warriors have won 4 of their last 5 games since Jimmy made his debut, with the lone loss coming in clutch time against today's opponent, the Dallas Mavericks. They've averaged over 120 points per game and more than 31 assists in those comebacks. So, Brian, what do you make of how Jimmy has integrated himself in the Bay?
You talk to people around Jimmy Butler, he is in the full-blown honeymoon right now. He is loving it. He is loving playing with Steph. He is loving playing for Steve Kerr. He is loving playing for Mike Dunleavy, the general manager, who was a former teammate of his. This is a completely different opportunity than Miami was, where they operate a little bit like the military. The Warriors operate a little bit like a player spa. They take care of their players in a different way. They have a different relationship with them. Jimmy is enjoying it. But at the end of the day, this is not about Jimmy. This is about the guy who built the Chase Center and how his presence affects Steph Curry. And Steph is excited about this partnership, and it's already off to a great start.
Draymond Green has said that Steph turned to him when Jimmy came into town and said, this is it. This is kind of our last big move, and this is the team that we're going to try to do it with one more time. How do you see this impacting sort of the last chapter of this Golden State Warriors?
I was wrong when I first spoke about it.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I think I was.
I'm sorry.
I mean, miracles do happen.
One more time.
Miracles do happen. I think I was wrong.
Oh, okay.
When I first talked about this, because I looked at Jimmy Butler and I said, we know what a big time player he is, particularly in the postseason. But does him and Steph mesh? I don't see that, and I still see them as undersized. Here's what I've noticed. First of all, let's not forget Draymond Green, the future Hall of Famer, 4-time champion, that obviously has elevated his level of inspiration to play because he knows they've got a chance. Steph Curry obviously being inspired. We know what he brings to the table. Jimmy Butler is averaging 20 and 6. He is averaging over 9 free throws per game, which is 6th in the league since he arrived in Golden State. Hit 87% of his free throws. And when I think about Steph Curry, outside of his marksmanship, the one thing that I marvel at, like LeBron in a different way, is his conditioning. He's running around all the damn time. When you have a guy that can get to the free throw line as frequently as Jimmy Butler, who's second in the usage rate on the team, Steph Curry's at 29%, he's at 23%, what happens then is you're giving him a break. You're giving him a breather without him having to get off the court, to sit on a bench. That, to me, makes Golden State very, very potent. So when I look at the West, again, I don't have them winning it, but I can't summarily dismiss what I'm seeing and how impressive it's been.
Well, we're not asking you to dismiss it, but I wasn't sold on it either when I said Jimmy didn't move the needle. Not that he's not a good or great player. When I think of a Steph Curry-led team, we're thinking of championships. This year, are they a championship team? Absolutely not. But I will give credit to Joe Lacob. I will give credit to Mike Dunleavy, because there was times you would look at Steph Curry and he looked defeated on the sideline before Jimmy got there. So what they did do is they gave Steph Curry and Draymond Green life, because let's be real. Steph had one foot in the grave, the other on the banana peel. We didn't know if he was going to tap out or what. Now, all of a sudden, Jimmy is there, and he gives them belief again. But I'm on this note when it comes down to the Warriors. I believe that they're a year away, off-season away from addressing the other issues that in the depth for us on their roster, and then they'll be able to compete.
Here's a question for both of y'all. Can we at least sit here and entertain the possibility that although none of us have Golden State going to the finals, they could derail somebody we think is going to the NBA finals? Because I look at it and I say, wait a minute, they could knock somebody off now.
The reality is people in the league just don't respect the Thunder. The Thunder are the youngest team in the NBA. You do not see the youngest team in any league, in any sport, win. And so if you're sitting in the back like the Warriors and you're trying to build something here, you see that as a target.
But you're not telling the whole story. We don't have that kind of faith. We have faith in SGA. But the rest of them, we saw them lose to Dallas last year. We saw them lose to Dallas when Luka was out before they acquired Anthony Davis. Yeah. That's a blemish against OKC. That's one of the problems.
I
got faith in them too.
The entire sort of conversation around Jimmy Butler at the end of Miami sort of changed the way that we think of him as a player. He's not just playoff Jimmy. He can really impact a contender, and that's what Golden State is trying to be. But this matchup against the Mavs is going to be massive when it comes to the postseason. The play-in picture packed out west. Dallas can clinch any tiebreaker with a win over Golden State here. The Warriors, they sit at 9th. The Mavs are in 8th, just one game behind the Clippers for 6th, and the final guaranteed playoff spot. And Dallas has the potential to be a very dangerous team when fully healthy, led by a front court Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively II. all out today against Golden State. So let's bring back in Shams here. Shams, when can we expect them to be at full strength here?
Michael, let's start with Anthony Davis. He suffered an adductor strain in his first Dallas Mavericks game on February 8th, and I'm told this injury is still expected to take him several more weeks to recover from. This is an injury that takes time. We know how important he is. Two other crucial pieces for this team. Derek Lively II, January 14th, he suffered a fracture in his foot. He's a young cornerstone for them. He did get his boot removed recently. He's progressing well. He is also several weeks away from my understanding. And then Daniel Gafford, he suffered an MCL sprain a couple of weeks ago. He's expected to be several weeks out as well. Kyrie Irving has told all of his teammates, those three players specifically, get right, get healthy. I'll hold the fort down. Stephen A. on his show in October that Mitchell Robinson would miss the calendar year 2024. I'm here to report that Mitchell Robinson is closing on his season debut. Sources tell me his goal is to make his return to the lineup at some point over the next week. He did multiple full scrimmages over the last several days, and he's going to have another session scheduled for early in the week. And then the Knicks, Robinson will make a determination on when that target date could be. This is someone that was a starting center for the Knicks last season. He's expected to be an anchor for the Knicks defense alongside Karl-Anthony Towns, potentially finishing games together for the Knicks.
Well, we know that Stephen A. is thrilled about this return, but the Knicks, it's their three-point defense, their perimeter defense. It's really struggling here, and I'm not sure that Mitchell Robinson helps that out very much.
Dead last. It's like that. So we can talk about Karl Towns, and look, the Cavaliers on Friday night targeted Karl repeatedly.
Yeah.
I think Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, and Donovan Mitchell were 11 of 11 going up against Karl Towns. But the reason that the Knicks are in trouble defensively is because they rank 30th. That's dead last, Malika, against the three. Guess what? Guess who shoots more threes than any team in the league? The Boston Celtics. So, yes, they will attack Karl Towns today, but their game plan is to make the Knicks defend the three. They do get a little bit of a break. Josh Hart, who's missed the last couple of games with a sore knee, he's going to warm up with the intention to play.
He's actually going to give it a go just in.
Okay, well, that's good. But still, that's that perimeter. It's more than just their big man.
Right, and the Celtics, they are not slowing down for anybody here. They have the best record. They don't have the best record in the league, or even the second best record in the league. And despite being 6 behind the top of the league, they still have the shortest odds to win the championship, according to ESPN Bet. Do you think the Celtics are still the cream of the crop, despite having the league's best record?
Oh, yes. If you look at these last 8 or 9 games, they've won 8 of their last 9. They are playing full power. I'm just going to look at the last time they played the Knicks, which was about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
the Knicks were only a game away from them in the standings. There was some belief like, oh, maybe the Knicks can sneak up here and take the 2 seed.
Killed that noise.
Wham! They slammed them. I expect them to try to send another message today, especially with Mitchell Robinson not there to help the Knicks defense.
Well, listen, the fact of the matter is this. Y'all are absolutely right in terms of how atrocious the New York Knicks defense has been. They obviously have to improve. There is no doubt about that. I'm just simply saying that when you have a star like Karl-Anthony Towns and you're playing like a star throughout the season, averaging 24 and 13, but the 4 games against Cleveland and Boston is when you're at your worst, that's problematic for me. Because what I want to see is you against them just the way you look against everybody else. We know collectively they're problematic defensively. They've been horrible. New York Knicks, a Tom Thibodeau team, has been horrible defensively. That's news in and of itself. Dead last in any category on defense, let alone defending the three-point shot, is horrific. You never expect something like that from Tom Thibodeau. But in the end, when you have an offensive juggernaut, all right, which the New York Knicks have been, you can create a bit of nervousness for the opposition if they can't stop you either. You're getting blown out by these teams. Well, you got to pay attention to that.
Well, they're not nervous. In the Boston Celtics,
they're getting their butts kicked.
And the Boston Celtics should keep it that way, right? Now we're heading into the last part of the season and going into the postseason. Give them no life, no hope whatsoever. Make them not believe in that locker room. And look, when you look at the Celtics, yes, they should be the clear-cut favorite to win the NBA championship. Yes, they do have the best starting 5 in basketball. But can we talk about the growth of Jason Tatum? Yeah. Every single night now, flirting with triple-doubles. We know he's a walking bucket, but it's the points. It's the assists now. And also, outside of that, the guys that are growing around them, outside of the big six, you know, if you look at the starting five, and Al Horford, Peyton Pritchard, who's going to win Sixth Man of the Year in my eyes. You know, you have Luke Cornett. When Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis is not playing, rise to the cake. That depth, the way that they're comfortable and confident, this team is still a favorite. They are very dangerous.
Tatum's about to make his 4th straight first-team All-NBA.
Yeah.
He's an NBA champion. He's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. He's on his way to being a first-ballot Hall of Famer.
And averaging 38.5 points on 61% shooting against the Knicks. Because that's what we're talking about right now, the Knicks.
And as we talk about their depth, guess what? They go and get Torrey Craig.
Well,
add more.
Any questions about who the Celtics